I want to hear your take on this one, Gyles.
Yes,
a new
Giles.
report suggested giving Japanese-style health MOTs to all 65-year-olds is a way we can transform social care.
These Japanese MOTs, as you call them, they're not focused entirely on health. It's not like checking up your cholesterol, your blood pressure. It's what is the state of you, in case in the future you need to be looked after. This is someone who is actually, I know appearances are deceptive, but I'll let you into a secret. I am over 65.
Yeah, but you're not falling apart, Giles.
I'm not falling apart, and I find this a rather patronising idea. You're going on Sunday to see Rod Stewart. Now, I'll tell you why Rod Stewart, at 80, is there as a legend at Glastonbury, because he has motive in his life, he has a job, he has passion. He loves, I've seen his wonderful model railway.
Yeah,
he keeps
he's
himself
curious.
I played football with him, he keeps himself fit. The truth is, when you get to 65, it's actually common sense what you need to do. So I'm not sure that this is necessary. Also, 65 sounds a bit old school. My grandparents at 65 looked old. People today don't behave in that way. So possibly
true.
at 85, this might be appropriate.
Is this not, though, Ashley, looking into the future and kind of, you know, it's the whole notion of continuity of care?
Yes, I would argue that potentially Rod Stewart, as fulfilled and happy as he is, health isn't common sense. And actually, he probably does have health checks to make sure that he stays young and fit. And so I think this is really good, because I think part of the problem with the NHS is we wait until something's already happened and then we fix it. And actually, if you're doing health checks, I do agree with you that 65 feels young. And it's so funny looking back on old films, even when you see people my age, they've got like perms in their hair.
I know. Do you remember the Golden Girls?
Weird.
I think I'm past the age of the Golden Girls now.
Even when I watch Grease, I still think the people at school look older than me.
No. Well, they probably were, to be fair.
Age has definitely shifted. However, I think actually that we should be doing much more preventative healthcare anyway, because I do think it would save money in the long term. And where I think this would... a really good example of this is, for example, maternity care. So, interestingly, the UK, which is the 6th richest nation in the world, has ranked 41st out of 142 in the, I can't even say that, Hologic Global Women's Health Index. And I think, especially as someone who has gone through the maternity system, I've been left with loads of ongoing health issues with the lack of postnatal care. So, you know, like things like prolapse, that impacts a lot of older women, which can have like long-term health issues.
Yeah.
If we actually look at preventative care and also improve things like maternity care, then I think actually in the long term it would save the NHS so much more money. But also I hate boiling health down to like money saving, because also I think older people deserve respect and dignity and independence. And if these kind of checks can help... 65 feels young to me because my parents are both fit and healthy, but actually there probably are lots of people in their 60s who aren't fit and healthy. And if they can have these checks, and also it's just equipping them that if they do need support...
This is it, right? 65 is it's kind of you're looking down the line.
What do you make of the law in China, the elderly rights law, that legally requires children to visit and care for their elderly parents?
Well, I bet you love that, don't you?
Oh, my God, can you imagine them coming round? It's our weekly trip, Dad. How are you doing?
Especially if you don't like your parents.
Yeah.
It's like... Yeah, and you told me that in Victorian era, or your youth, I'm not sure which maybe it's the same.
Thank you. The crossover between my youth and the late Victorian era. That's very sweet of you. Thank you very much indeed.
That it was actually the eldest daughter that had to look after her parents.
2 or 3 generations ago, this certainly applied to my father's sister, actually. The daughter in the family who didn't get married was expected to live at home and continue to look after her parents.
So as an unmarried eldest daughter?
As the unmarried eldest daughter. And she might, as a reward for that, inherit their house. I mean, that's the way... If you read a lot of Victorian novels, there will be that kind of woman within the family, dutiful daughter.
I think my parents would be horrified if it was up to me, out of all of my siblings,
I mean,
to
the truth is,
look after them.
What we want to lead are long, full, independent lives. Obviously reacting with our families, and of course it's nice to care for your parents. I think, in fairness to one of the things you were saying, we should, I know this, my GP is very good at tests. You're called in for all sorts of tests already in this country. And I think this is not just about medical things.
I think this is going to happen if you're visibly frail, though. If you look visibly frail, they're going to knock in these tests.
I think, from my understanding, the NHS has been piloting something already for people who are 65 and over, and if they go into A&E and they look frail, then they will do these MOT tests, which I think is like like such a brilliant idea.
Do you know, I was just thinking, literally just then, I'm literally 15 years from 65. I mean, like, literally, it's round the corner for me.
It is.
I feel visibly frail already. You know what I mean? I do, especially, you know, working with this one. You know how it goes. Anyway, next story. Should an 18-year-old be in charge of a council? This is quite an interesting one, Giles. So 18-year-old George Finch has taken over as interim leader of Warwick County Council until a permanent replacement is confirmed. The change means George, a former member of the Conservative Party, is now responsible for the council with 1.5 billion of assets and budget from around 500 million. There he is. Oh my gosh, he's so young. I mean, what do you think of this? Do you think, I mean, he's got the job, he should be able to be responsible for it? Do you not think,
I think is an elected member. The person who had the job has had to step down. He is next in line. He is 18. He has had 18 years of life experience. When you see how some of the 58-year-olds, 68-year-olds and 78-year-olds are running the country and indeed the world, why not give this 18-year-old a chance?
Yeah.
So why not? And we have had in our history, there was a Prime Minister, William Pitt the Younger, who became Prime Minister at the age of 24. And I think, as I recall my history, he was deemed to do it rather well. And in Victorian times, lots of Pitt clubs were set up around the country, people who admired him. So it's not impossible. It depends on the person.
He
could
might
be
do a
useless
really
or he
good
could be
job.
rather good.
Yeah.
Give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be really objective and not think about the party that he's in. And, you know, across the board, how would I feel about an 18-year-old being in charge of a council, especially when we know that so many councils are struggling. I think the great thing about a democracy is it doesn't matter what age you are. And actually, when you look around the world at some of the most successful people, Mark Zuckerberg being one, he co-founded Facebook at 19. I'm not entirely against it because also I think the problem with politics is they have detached from young people and young people do have lots of fresh ideas. However, what I will say is, do you have not only the skills, but also the compassion to be able to understand all the different problems that people in that local council face? And I don't know. I mean, I think when you're 18, of course, like, you have had struggles and hardship and people come from different backgrounds, but can you relate to everyone in the community?
Do you mean like the life experience?
Life experience, it comes with age. Not to say that he can't do a good job, and I do think there's probably a lot of like ageism in that, like too often we sniff at the ideas and skills that young people can bring.
But we talk about this all the time, about young people getting demonised. And I remember you've spoken very eloquently about it, as have you, Giles, about how you shouldn't demonise young people. And like you said, if you can separate the party he stands for, it's not really about party politics. It's about, we're discussing how old, and we always say, it would be great to get young people involved more in politics. And then we can't complain when they are involved.
And
you're right, especially for a young man. You know, you're not fully developed at 18.
And he's not alone. He is, as it were, leading this group of people, and there will be officials to
and
help
he's an
him.
interim
and give him a go.
And anyone who gets involved in
skills,
politics at a young age, I think it's only a healthy thing.
Like, you don't automatically become a great leader as you get older. No. However, he is now in charge of £1.5 billion worth of assets and a budget of around 500 million. Yes. I feel like I was still on like £20 a week pocket money
when you was 18.
I can't imagine being handed.
What was you all doing at 18? 18, I worked in a shop called Shared Earth, and I loved it. It was like we were selling like lovely pottery, like clothes and stuff like that, incense and jewellery and everything like that. And I absolutely loved it. And I used to get paid in a little brown envelope. And it was cash money. It was so good. Like £135 a week. I was like, yeah, baby. $1.
I was a lifeguard on the side of my studies. I loved it. Yeah, I loved it.
Oh,
we regard you, if I may say so, as the Joan of Arc of this morning. And
as in you want to burn me at the stake?
No, but a great revolutionary.
So you could
and
save
she was,
anyone.
the point is, Joan of Arc was a teenager. So you can achieve extraordinary things, immortality, even when you're young.
What was you doing at 18?
I began really working at 15 when I was paid £5 a week to work in the reservations department of Thomas Cook in Berkeley Square. I reorganised the reservations department within about a month of being there.
Wow.
And I was very pleased with the work I'd done. I enabled them to do the whole week's work in 2.5 days. I was so pleased. Everything was more efficient. People were jollier. They could go home.
Youth.
I came back at Christmas to see how they were getting on, and they'd reverted to all the old practices. They didn't want the kind of leadership I had to offer.
I just have a picture of Giles walking across Berkeley Square with a a Mac slung over his arm, bowler hat, umbrella.
Was a bit like
madam.
Don't just cook it, Thomas, cook it.
Exactly, lovely.
What was young Dermot doing at 18?
18, I was
College.
definitely A-levels, but I was doing my sort of weekend job, so I sold papers, and I did a kids club at the local sports centre, which I loved. And then played sport, just loved like rugby.
I love that age. So curious, aren't you? You just want to do everything.
Bruce Springsteen has that lovely thing, is there's nothing like that youth, and he said in that blank page, looking at you, staring, daring you to write in it.
Yes,
what a lovely
nice.
turn of phrase, isn't it?
Nice.
Daring you to write in it. Yeah. Lovely.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank you.
We're going to do
we
one
do
more
another
story.
While we're here.
Let's not go to the break. Let's do another story.
And please have us back later.
I love how this story leads on so well.
Well, it's all about washing, isn't it? Should you be taking your washing home?
Council leader by day, take your washing home to your parents by night.
He probably does. You never know.
So, should we be... A new study suggests younger people are dumping their dirty laundry on their parents to wash. This is according to British Gas, who found time to do this.
Thank you for that,
Thank you, British Gas. Young adults aged 16 to 30 drag home an average of 39 filthy items, including 8 pairs of socks, 7 pairs of pants, 7 T-shirts, 5 hoodies from a big weekend like in Glastonbury. What point do you start doing your own laundry?
I'm waiting to start.
Gyles.
But I will reveal to you, and I'm going to name names now, that on Monday night, our grandson Rory came round to our house for his 19th birthday. OK, he's 19 years of age. It was a lovely, lovely evening, and he did the most brilliant Donald Trump impressions. A 19-year-old, and it was so funny, so funny. And his girlfriend was sort of cringing. He was so funny. Anyway, that's by the by. He then left the house. And the laundry that my wife, it must be said, did for him 6 weeks ago is still in the carrier bag. He actually didn't even bother to take it home. He didn't even bother. So he brings the laundry round, dumps it, doesn't even take it down.
So you've got clutter in your house?
He dumps it in the hallway, doesn't even say, hello, Gran, I'm here. Dumps it, leaves, assumes we know what it is. She then humps it down, puts it in the washing machine, does it all, folds it beautifully, irons things that don't need to be ironed. And it's all left beautifully by the front door. He actually comes for the party, goes off, doesn't even take it, so it's been there for weeks.
Terrible.
So what's he been wearing since?
Well, how's about that? A branderist getting by on charm. Oh, using charm as his... Where on earth did he get that from?
You know what she should do? Nanny. Nanny should just leave it there, right? And then when he comes back, go, oh, there was this bag of dirty clothes.
She can't.
There was this bag of dirty clothes. Can you take it off?
She's called Momo in the family.
Is she?
Instead of...
Momo.
I'm called Grandpa.
Oh,
She's called
Momo. I like that.
Is she happy to do this?
I think she is.
Is she happy to do people's washing? Because I think if that's your love language, then I'm not going to say that you shouldn't be doing it. But if she feels like a duty to do it, because I think the problem for me is, and I'd love to see the gendered split of who brings home their washing, but a lot of the time it's like the woman in the house who is expected to do the laundry. And again, if you're happy to do that, that's fine. But I would not be happy to do that. And I feel like if it is a bugbear, set some boundaries.
I love doing the laundry. I don't like it when anyone else does it.
I'm not.
I'll do it because I know the whites are going to be in with the darts. Do you know what I mean? I want to do it.
Do you do your son's?
Not at the moment because I'm doing bake-off, a little bit of bake-off, and I'm not really there, so he has to do it. Oh, he's really good. He does everything. But I'll be honest with you, sometimes I'll come back and he's... like basket is full.
Where is he on turning off the lights? Because where I draw the line...
He's a good boy.
I came down this morning. We've got my daughter and son-in-law and another grandson staying with us at the moment. I came down this morning and the light was still on from last night.
Drives me up the wall.
I mean, it really... I went round the house and the sunshine into the house.
I got in last night and
really
he texted me and said, are you in downstairs?
I don't think I've ever seen you so angry.
And I went, yeah, I'm in. I'm just turning the 8,000 lights off before I go to the...
Thank you. I mean, honestly...
I went downstairs, every single light was on. I was like, have you just gone around turning them all on?
I mean, taking the world for granted, it's environmentally a bad idea, but also as though it sort of comes endlessly from us, that we can afford to pay the bills.
Hi, everyone. Just wanted to say thank you for visiting our This Morning YouTube channel. Now, listen, we upload new content every day, so go ahead and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out. And we'll see you in the morning.